Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we're doing 2001's 222 Can Play That Game. If you want to follow us on the social medias, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Kiss the Reviews. And as always, if you would like to be one of our lucky subscribers on Patreon, it's only like $2 to start. Come over to Patreon, Kiss the Reviews, check us out. You'll get some pre-show content. We're working on putting out some other different content too. So you get a bunch of stuff for the reviews. You get actual clips of the movies. We don't do that on YouTube anymore because YouTube doesn't always let us do that. So all that stuff's on Patreon. So come over and check us out there. I'm obviously a great pitch man. Not really.
Patreon fun and stuff and things and video.
So no, let's get into
Patreon is a way. Yeah, let me take a stab at this.
Do your thing.
Patreon be better, make funny laugh times extra. No, Patreon's a really good time. We have a lot of fun before the show. You get to know us a little bit more. There are some extra movies on there we reviewed that are only on Patreon.
Yep.
Shout out April for that again.
Yes.
And it's for $2 a month, bro. It's so much easier. And if you ever wanted to request a movie on here, but you don't want to do a PayPal thing, that's the spot to go, and you actually have your movie reviewed. If you are making a free request on YouTube, I'm telling you right now, Armando will probably be dead before we get to the first one we have on the list. Because one, he's old. Two, he's very unhealthy. And three, we have a long list of like Patreon requests. That's the place to be.
Yes. And if I keep drinking at the rate that I'm drinking, I don't got too much longer. So
no.
With that said, let's get into the cast of Two Can Play That Game.
You're starting to get red cheek like Bert Kreischer and Santa Claus.
Yes, that is true.
Just not as puffy, so that's good.
Yeah. Us creatives have some issues. So let's get into the cast of Two Can Play That Game. This film stars Vivica A. Fox as Shanté Smith, Morris Chestnut as Keith Fenton, Anthony Anderson as Tony, Wendy Raquel Robinson as Karen, Tamala Jones as Tracey, Monique as Diedre, and Gabrielle Union as Conny Spalding.
This cast is awesome.
The cast is fantastic, and I will say this. I know Vivica A. Fox and Morris Chestnut are the stars of this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Anderson steals every single scene in this movie. He's the only one that actually brings the funny to this.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what Anthony Anderson did before Blackish.
Yeah,
was this role.
This movie, like Monique is in there for comic relief. Anthony Anderson is in there for comic relief. Like, and even Vivica's friends in this, whether it's Monique or the other two, like they're in there for that comic relief. None of them do a like as actors, they're all fine. But the only time I found myself laughing, just because Anthony Anderson was so like just loud and boisterous, I always loved him in these roles because he played them so well.
Well, yeah, he understood. Anthony Anderson has always been that cat that understood the assignment.
Yeah.
His role was to play that bullshit best friend who doesn't have a relationship, but is going to give you all the advice you need to know.
And everybody's got that guy.
Hey, everybody knows that dude. Everybody. Yep. And just him in that role and taking the few minutes of screen time he had and just owning it like he does. That's what Anthony Anderson has always done.
Yep.
Always done.
Yeah. Well, and it has been, I mean, this movie came out in 2001. It's probably been, I don't think I saw this in theaters, but I'm pretty sure I rented this on Blockbuster. Came out on HBO a year or two later. So it's been over 20 years since I've seen this movie. And we talked a little bit before we started recording. I have problems, not just with this movie. Like, again, the cast, the actors, they're freaking fantastic. They all do a
Mhm.
good job in this movie, but I don't like movies like this. Here are the rules. These are the things. And this, all this seemed to me is an hour and a half of how to try to manipulate people you're with. Like that's all it seemed like to me.
Yeah, I can guarantee you anybody that followed any of these rules and ended up getting engaged is now divorced.
You were correct.
We talked a little bit about it on Patreon. I've never even known a person that has been like, all right, check it out. Your girlfriend's doing this. These are the rules. This is a movie thing.
Yes, this
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
this only works in bullshit. It doesn't ever work in real life.
Yes, absolutely. So, without further ado, let's rock and roll into this thing. So, the movie opens with Shanté. She's breaking the fourth wall, and she's talking about how shitty men are and how she has to counsel all of her friends during the springtime every year when they have man problems because apparently up north, as soon as springtime happens and warm weather happens, bitches are just showing their titties everywhere, and guys can't control. They're like the wolf in those old Warner Brothers cartoons where they can't control themselves.
All men are monsters. We're all
Now,
sexual monsters and deviants.
with that said, I'd probably say about 60% of men are fucking monsters and deviants.
Yeah, but we don't all go out just fuck like springtime. I'm gonna fuck this tree. Like that don't make any fucking sense. I know every dude I know looks, and it's accepted. It's not disrespectful, but they look, they check out. The shit they're doing in here to pass off like, oh, we were just dancing.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, I don't care. Black, white, fucking married, dating, whatever the situation. If I cancel plans and I get caught fucking dancing with another girl, there's no more rule playing. I'm getting destroyed.
I want to
Physically,
know.
financially,
Okay.
mentally.
Like, here's the other thing that drives me bonkers because you jumped ahead a little bit, right?
I
Because
get excited.
she describes, Keith. She shows how they met, and
Mhm.
her man has no issues because she's trained him properly, you know, because apparently she's the shit. But we see her friends, her friend Karen's going through a breakup, and whatever, right? And she's just helping all her friends as they apparently don't know how to have personal relationships with other people.
And she's so fucking shitty and pretentious about it.
Yes.
Like, I guess I got to go to her house next because it's springtime. It's like, hey, they're grown ass fucking women. Stop
Yes.
butting into their fucking lives. She just likes the drama.
Yeah.
She needs to turn on some Mary J. Blige and shut the fuck up. Mind her business for a minute or two.
Yes.
Your
Well,
life is good. Maybe if you weren't involved in everybody else's relationship, your man wouldn't have been working late dancing in the club with somebody. Just
well,
saying.
and here's the other thing too. When you take that role and that stance in your crew, guys
Mm-hmm.
or girls, when you take that stance as like the pretentious, like I know everything, and I'll tell you what's wrong with your dude and how you need to get him back and blah 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 blah. She goes through this the whole movie, and she's like, never let on to your girls that you're even going. You know why? Because you've been a pretentious bitch about the whole thing, and God forbid you have feelings about anything because all your friends are going to be like, "Hey, what the fuck's going on with you?" You're not perfect. And it happens here because the number one excuse for that men are cheating and yada yada is they're working late. So she gets the call. He can't make it to dinner because they're working. He's working late. So she goes with her friends to their favorite restaurant dance club. Is that what this is? Because never been to one of those. So they're there for like some drinks and apps and shit. Um, and she sees, or her friends see, her man Keith dancing with a coworker. His whole thing is, "Hey babe, we were working late.
I was working late.
I personally, I've never been at like a work thing where I'm like, oh yeah, let's go get a drink and maybe some dinner, working late, yada yada." And then a song comes on, and I'm like, fuck yeah, that's my jam. Let's go dance. Never happen.
Yeah.
Not unless you want laid. That's the only way that's happening.
You were correct.
Yeah, this is all the way out of bounds from start to finish.
Yes.
And I don't put credence in. First off, if a motherfucking man tells you he's working late, there's a good chance he's just working late. Don't assume that you're like, oh, you got to get out there and make that fucking paper. Or I don't want nothing to do with you. And then the second the guy's like, hey, I got to work some overtime, you're like, you cheating motherfucker. I knew it. Damn that. Fuck you.
Well,
like that's fucked up.
No, it is fucked up.
That being said, you need to understand that when you cancel dinner plans with your lady and you're like, I got to work late, that means your ass is in your office chair working late.
Hell yes.
If I'm grabbing a drink because we all worked hard, it's with the fellas. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going out with the girls.
No.
Me going out with a group of girls, because I've been in this situation before. You want to talk about like relationship traps? It's like, oh, we're gonna go hang out with some people. Oh, cool. And you show up and it's a fucking girls' night.
Yeah.
And you're the only guy there.
That is the same immediately.
Dude, being a guy, the only guy at a girls' night is being like the only white guy at the cookout. You don't want to do that. And it's not because you're not welcome. It's because nobody can say the shit they really want to say. They can't really be themselves with your fucking giant white ass sticking out. Same thing with your giant fucking dick sticking out at an all girls party. Never gonna work. Just don't do it.
No, don't do it. And here's the other thing too. When you look at Shanté's, like, where the position she's put herself in, because now she's at the place with her girlfriends, they see it, and she can't get mad because she's put herself in the position with her girlfriends, like, nah, it's fine, I got my man under control. And this is where she goes into her rules of getting your man under control, and this really kicks off the movie. And by the way, I know we talked about this pre-show, rules to dating, rules to this, that, the other. How about this? There are no motherfucking rules because everybody's a human. I know I'm spoiling the end of this movie, but at the end of the day, there are no rules. Every situation is a unique situation, unless you run into the Bobby Brown character who's just a piece of shit from fucking Jump.
Yeah, and he actually ends up being the only good one because he actually proposes to his girl. He never cheats on her. He's just lazy as fuck.
Well, that, and she basically forced him into it, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, man, she got his teeth done. She cleaned him all the way up.
I'm not saying she didn't deserve it.
Yep. She deserved, that's all I'm saying, is she deserved it.
You were right.
This is my question. This is for anybody out there. Uncle Corey needs to ask you a question for once. Why the fuck do you want to control anybody? Can you even control yourself? Honestly, and I don't mean like, oh, I don't cheat on my wife. No, but your ass sneaks that extra piece of fucking cheesecake, doesn't it, fat boy? Yeah, yeah. You have that one extra fucking drink, don't you? You can't control shit. So don't worry about controlling another fucking person. That's insane.
You know you're stopping at McDonald's and getting that double
For
cheese
real.
and eating it real quick on the drive home, throwing the evidence out the window.
Yep.
But
Yep.
Shanté here talks about implementing her 10-day program,
Mhm.
right? Starting with whoever calls first loses, right? Day one, she doesn't take Keith's call because you never take the first call. Then you take the second call, rush him off the call, and they then get together. Keith tries to explain what happened
Mhm.
over like dinner. And this is where Shanté says that they should take a break and test the waters.
I have mixed feelings about this because she's playing the game, and as we've discussed, it's not something I do. So I
Yep.
can't get on board with the whole gamesmanship of it. That being said, I can't get on board with revenge torture. And if she thinks he was really stepping out on her and she's just fucking twisting this knife in him and twisting this knife, that's cool. I'm on board with that aspect of it. Get your revenge and then just dump him. But like
Yeah.
this whole like, oh, I want my man back. He
Well,
fucking was. If you think your man is cheating on you, don't want him back. Catch
or
that
wants
D
to.
one more time. Yeah, catch it one more time. But don't actually get in a relationship because, especially if he's done it once or she's done it once, they will do it again
Listen,
because they know they can.
you and I talked before this about this exact scenario, right?
Hmm.
And we both are of the belief that like, yeah, if they cheat on you or when like obviously if they don't want to be with you, just let them go. There is
Yeah,
no I gotta control my woman or I gotta control my like that makes me that's okay. Secret time? That's too much goddamn work for this dude. I'm not trying to
facts.
control shit. I'm just letting life happen, control the controllables, and let everybody else do whatever the fuck it is they want to do. And if it doesn't vibe with what I'm doing, bye. Like that, that's what's happening.
Yeah, dude. Armando can't even control his emotions. You think he can control another person? Get the fuck out of here, dude. That's insane.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
We get to day two. Shantae's hanging out with her friends. She's having fun. Keith hangs out with his friends, and he's oh so super sad. They're watching the game. Okay, this is where the movie for me. I'm like I'm out. I'm out again because I put myself in the scenario. If the girl says, "Hey, this ain't working, test the waters," fine. Will I go out and start banging immediately? Probably not. However,
No.
if the boys call me and they're like, "Hey, the blobbity bloops are playing on Friday night or whatever. We're all going to watch the
Hmm.
game." You best believe I'm cracking open at least 12 beers and having a good old time with my guys. Not
Yeah.
I might be sad for a day. I I know I've said I have no feelings. I have like a little bit of feelings, like somewhere down deep. So I might be sad for like a day. But if the boys, I cut that off. Like it's game time.
Oh yeah, dude. Like much like my Crocs. Sadness is for private time. I don't do that in public. I don't wear Crocs in public, and I do not cry in public.
And you should not wear Crocs in public.
No, we've covered that. Join us on
Yes.
Patreon. But yeah, I just think like so much of this. I kept going back and forth, like, who the fuck wrote this? Because
Yeah.
of course I'm not looking that up, and I missed it in the credits. But I'm like, who the fuck was it? A man? Was it a woman? Because I kept being torn on what gender was so fucking stupid to write this shit. Like, This is a toss-up. Maybe it's a they. Maybe we have our first them written movie, and we can just be like, yeah, you don't know shit about either gender. It's fucking wonderful.
Mark Brown, writer and director. So
there you go.
But well, here's the other.
You don't know shit, dog. You can't write a fucking woman to save your life.
He can't even write a man to save his life. But
no, the only believable one's Anthony Anderson, like you said earlier.
Yeah. Well, I think Anthony Anderson, they wrote him like 3 lines and they were like, dude, just improv the rest. And he kind of just did his thing. But like the third day, this one really set me over the edge. Day 3, she ignores Keith's calls, right? While she goes to church on TV and then goes to actual church. Because, you know, when you're up to no goddamn good, you need fucking Jesus, okay? She is up to no goddamn good. She needs Jesus. And by the way, this rolls into her other rule, right? Where she's got to like get a little too huggy on a guy in front of his friends so that they go back and they tell, you know me, I'm not the church going folk, right? But bitch, if you're going to church and you're doing this, oh, that's a fast track to hell. Like you can't do that in church. Am I wrong?
Oh, no, I don't think you're wrong. It's funny, though, because they all basically start breaking down, like, church sluts and, like, players in the church and all this shit. And it's like, this isn't... White church is so different from black church.
No, black church, honestly, just seems like the club during the daytime. Like, that's a white church... is just like eating chicken with no seasoning on it. It's the same bland...
it's boiled chicken. Yeah. And then if you go to the Mormon church, it's eating boiled chicken, but you get to have a lot of anal sex.
Hell yes.
Every religion's got their thing, man.
100%. But so after this piece, it's day 4. Keith shows up that night to Shanté's house with his leather ass pants and plush ass shirt. He gets Shanté to fight with him, and he leaves on cloud 9 because he got her to engage. And they talk about this, like him and Tony, and he shifts all the fucking bad energy onto her. He's out the house. He's happy. Now I will say this. Psychologically speaking, fuck all the rules. This, I don't care if you're really mad at somebody, like, and you don't care about them, you're done. This is the fucking move.
Yeah, this
is you just push all your shit onto them, and then you just walk away like, God damn, I feel good, and they feel like shit now.
Yeah, I get that. But also I'm not a big like energy guy. So me, I'm like, I'm hitting it. I'm giving her my gift. Here you go. Here's my gift. And then I'm out. Then I'm done. I'm gonna get something out of this. I'm not fucking walking away with like blue balls. Like, I did a great job. Oh, like I gotta jerk off all the way home in the car, like as a celebration. No, get the fuck out of here.
No, you do that, and then you go to the club and you do your thing there.
Well, then you're gonna ruin your reputation because you've had blue balls for the last couple hours, and you're gonna nut in about 5 seconds.
You're rub one out in the
dude.
I don't know what to tell you. You rub one out in the parking lot. I don't know what to tell you.
Have you ever yeeted in leather pants? It's not fun. It's not fun. You think sweating in them motherfuckers is bad? Try fucking spreading a little baby oil in that shit.
Hey, listen, you know I've been in bands for years. You know I've worn some leather pants, but I never made enough money to buy real leather. It was always that fake shit. If I yeeted in those, they would just break. Like,
Well, you have very, very strong yeet, sir.
but so day 5 is bad. So we cut to day 6. Day 6 is the occupy your time, pulling out your black book, calling some people. Keith and Tony go out with a couple of women, one of whom is Gabrielle Union, who wants nothing more than to grab a hold of Keith's manhood.
Well, it sounds like she's grabbing manhood because they introduce her at the beginning of the movie. She's just grabbing all the manhoods all around town.
Yes.
She's just taking all of them.
And I'll take it. I'll take a number. I'll get in line for that one.
Okay. Okay.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, kids. Uncle Corey here. This is where we get into movie fantasy because hoes in real life don't ever look this good. Ever.
100%.
They at least should have given Gabby a thin little mustache or something to just hoe her up a little bit. And like that ain't happening. But by the way, him doing this and then having the balls to get sad at the end, like 20 minutes later, and being like, "Oh man, I really wanted her back."
Nah, I don't like playing games, man.
You don't take your girl's arch fucking enemy to a party you know her ass is gonna be at.
Yep.
She knew.
Mm-hmm.
And then pull the fucking bullshit like, "Oh no, she left." No, you're making a statement, and that statement is, it's over.
Yep.
It's done.
Absolutely. And she also goes, this is, part of the whole, I don't know, day 6, day 7. She goes and she goes late night, gets all done up, drops his shit off at his house that he had left at hers. And then she teases him, gives him some more blue balls, and then she leaves. So now she's like turned the tables and shifted the shit back onto him. This is where we get the Miller Genuine Draft Party. Listen, I know they're all in advertising. You couldn't have been like, I don't know, fucking Absolute or Grey Goose or a real MGD? God damn. How do you know it's 2001?
I'll be honest with you. I caught that too because I'm like, hold up. Everybody in this advertising agency is walking around like their motherfucking shit don't stink.
Yep.
And they're basically throwing like the kiss the review parties of reaction channels. Like, I got to get ready for the big party. Oh yeah, our new client, Kiss the Reviews, is coming on. Oh shit! We passed on Mr. Beast. We didn't need him.
You were correct.
They're like, yeah, we're this big advertising agency, but we got this party for fucking Mad Dog this weekend, and we're all gonna get fucking fucked up on Ripple and are you fucking serious? Get the fuck out of here.
This is fucking insane.
It went high class to Sanford and Son in about fucking all of 3 seconds here. It just made like, that quick turn. You were like, dude, what the fuck?
Next week they're doing a marketing party for Signature Selects available in your local grocery stores.
At the party, Shanté sees Conny and Keith come in, right? Mm-hmm. She's pissed. She goes to talk to Keith. He tells her he's exploring his options. Then Shanté goes off on Conny. And Conny doesn't take her shit. They do the whole dream sequence here where she knocks her out and they rewind and then do the whole thing. But to your point, dude, I'm sorry. If you're the dude, if you're Keith in this situation, first of all, you have to choose between these two. What a great situation to be in.
Well, when you look like fucking Morris, yeah. I think that dude. I like this is what cracked me up. We got to talk about how good looking he is for a minute, because fuck, Ricky aged well.
Ricky aged really well.
Well, and I like how he's like, oh, I put on, my best clothes to go over to her house when he's going to transfer the bad energy onto her. He's like, I put on my worst clothes. Dude, I saw you sad watching football looking good as fucking sweatpants and a fucking thermal. The fuck out of here. I put them, just show up.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. None of these characters outside of Tony are relatable in any way whatsoever. Not in the jobs that they keep, not in the looks department, the clothes department. None of it is fucking relatable.
No.
Like
every person in this movie is amazing, and not in like, oh my god, this was so good, and like come on, guys.
Dude, in real life, both of these chicks are busted up. One's got fucking 6 teeth, like 3 in her mouth and 3 in her pocket. The other one's got like a 4-knuckle ring that just says beef, just all face busted. Like those are your options, right? That's who the average person is dealing with here, not these two. And definitely on the female side, you're trying to keep Bobby Brown's character in his original form in this movie with the fucked up teeth and the cherry curl. That's who you're trying to keep.
Yeah, that's basically what you and I would look like if we were black.
You were right.
But then Shanté like gives herself a flat tire on her car and then has a guy come to help her out. She brings him in. She talks to him to make Keith jealous. And then Keith confronts her. She accidentally drops the condom, which sets Keith off. And he tells her that if she leaves with this dude, that he not only is he gonna leave with Connie, they fucking.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi guys, Uncle Corey here. If you don't look like Morris, don't be announcing you're taking some chick out and fucking her, because it's not gonna work.
That's not how that works.
No, she is not gonna fuck you, and if she does, she giving you something. Like you gotta get a dick shot the next day. So
100%. You're gonna have to get that cotton swab right in the pee hole.
Just don't make the mistake of thinking because you might be quick-witted or smooth, you're not Morris. You can't do this.
Yes, absolutely. But she leaves. She expects him to be at her house when she gets back home. So she gets back home. She's wrong. Nobody's there. So she goes to this restaurant, nightclub place that they hang out at all the time. And she sees Keith. She hits on him like he did the first time they met. And the movie ends as they dance and make out. And, through her breaking the fourth wall, it's you shouldn't put rules on things. There's lessons learned and things at the end. Outside of a few really funny moments, I believe I said it at the beginning, like these movies infuriate me because there's a ton of these movies out there, right? That have rules and to control and the thing. And I'm not into that. And going back to our other point of the relatability, I can't relate to any of these people in any of these movies. It's always like the hottest people on the planet that are in this weird like triangle of whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I can't relate to any of this bullshit.
No, you really can't. And these movies work in high school or college because kids are stupid. Right? And because kids are stupid, they think they're like rules to dating, and this is how you slide in or DMs. Blah blah blah. Get the fuck out of here! Like adults, especially adults that hold these jobs and wear those clothes and look that good, don't do this infantile shit.
No,
That's what infuriates me about this. The thing that really sent me over the edge, because I thought it could hang on, and to me, they broke the cardinal rule. It's like in a horror movie or a movie like this. I'll use The Breakup, for example. They don't end up together.
Yes.
These two people should not be together. They went through a week and a half of some of the most toxic back and forth shit I've ever seen. And at week 2, Vivica's like, what if I promise not to try and control you? Really?
That's what's happening?
That's what you learned? It's bad to control another human being? Cool. I'm good. Thanks. Like, seriously, I would go suck a dick just in front of her just so she would leave me the fuck alone from this point on. I want nothing to do with you. So,
oh my God.
Like, I just don't understand going through all this and then being like, oh, let's get on the dance floor and we're back together.
Yeah.
Because you know what really happens in real life? She comes up and hits on him, and he's like, yeah, I'd like to dance. And they get on the dance floor, and she's like, remember that time you were dancing with that fucking skank from work? Remember that? Remember that? That's exactly what the fuck is going to happen.
Well, that's
every
the
time.
other thing. That's the other thing. I've seen relationships like this, right? How many friends either we've been involved in those or we've had friends that have been involved in those. And it's like that the minute there's a fight, I don't care if it's about loading and unloading the dishwasher. There's going to be a like, oh, well, these dishes have been in there for 3 days. And it's going to be a back and forth. And then it's going to end up with, remember when you wanted to fuck that bitch? Like, it's always going to go there.
Every time.
And that shit, you talk about rules, that shit ain't healthy. That's where you cut it off. That, like, over with. Relationships, I don't care if it's friends or dating or whatever the fuck, shouldn't be difficult. No. It shouldn't be work. So just do your thing. But no, you're right though. These movies, because again, when I saw this years and years ago, I thought it was funny. I kind of liked it. Being much older now, I'm like, oh my God. It gave me anxiety. Like a lot of these movies that we watch from back then that I thought were not saying it's good is just, the generalization, but like thinking it was good or funny or, oh, wow, that was a good take on this thing. That's because I was young and stupid. And then I see it now, a slew of these movies, not just this one, literally gives me fucking like panic attacks. I'm like, I'd kill everybody in this movie. My friends, my girlfriend, like everybody's dead. This turns into a horror movie.
Yeah, like this, it's again, I have to keep going back to it. If you kill the main character in a horror movie, it makes it better. The Breakup was so good because they broke up. If this movie, they broke up in the end and it was just they went their separate ways, but were amicable about it, dope. Yeah. I really then don't have a problem with this movie. It's actually a pretty good movie because they both learned a lesson. They grew, they went on.
Yeah.
Nobody really learns much of anything here other than overreact, torture your partner, and then after a week and a half, be like, hey, let's get back together and hit that dance floor, bro.
Everything's good.
Everything's Irie. Get the fuck out of here. I just can't buy into that.
We'll end it there because it's such a good point. Oh, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 2001's Two Can Play That Game.